I spent 3 years chasing the advice of internet wealth gurus. I bought the courses, I practiced the morning routines, and I obsessed over the secret mindset shifts they promised would make me a millionaire. The result? I was exhausted, confused, and significantly poorer than when I started. It turns out the path to wealth isn't hidden behind a paywall or a charismatic smile. It is buried in centuries of economic data, psychological research, and historical evidence. Today, we are stripping away the hype and looking at the actual science of getting rich. The first fundamental law of wealth is not a hustle, it is a mathematical reality known as the savings rate. In 1992, Thomas Stanley and William Danko published The Millionaire Next Door. They spent 20 years studying people with a net worth over $1 million. They found that these people rarely looked like the gurus on your feed. They were accountants, engineers, and blue collar business owners. The common denominator wasn't high stakes day trading or exotic investment strategies, it was a staggering discipline toward frugality. Most gurus tell you to focus on increasing your income alone. The science says that is only half the equation. If your spending rises in tandem with your salary, you are simply trapped on a high speed treadmill. This is known as lifestyle creep. Researchers at the University of Chicago found that even when income doubles, the psychological satisfaction of that extra money decays in less than 6 months. By keeping your expenses stable while your income grows, you widen the gap. That gap is where wealth is born. Once you have that gap, you face the second law, the power of asymmetric compounding. Albert Einstein reportedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. He was right, but most people misunderstand how it actually works. You don't get rich through linear growth, you get rich through exponential acceleration. Look at the S&P 500 index data from 1926 to 2023. Even with the Great Depression, the 1970s stagflation, and the 2008 financial crisis, the average annual return adjusted for inflation is about 7%. If you invest $10,000 at age 25 and never add another cent, you will have nearly $200,000 by age 65. That is the baseline. It is boring, it is slow, and it is statistically impossible to fail if you maintain your course. The gurus want you to chase the 1% of stocks that go to the moon. The data suggests that chasing the moon is how you lose your entire trajectory. But money is not just a math problem, it is a psychological one. This brings us to the third law, the hedonic adaptation barrier. Your brain is wired to seek novelty, not long-term security. When you buy a new car, your brain experiences a dopamine spike. Within weeks, your baseline shifts. The car is no longer a luxury, it is just a car. In a study by Dr. Brickman at Northwestern University, researchers tracked lottery winners and people who had suffered paralyzing accidents. They found that within a year, both groups returned to their baseline levels of happiness. Wealth gurus exploit this. They sell you luxury cars and private jets because they know your brain craves the hit of the acquisition. But true wealth is the absence of anxiety. It is the ability to say no to work you hate. It is the freedom to choose your time. The science of wealth is actually the science of behavior, not finance. You have to actively fight your biological instinct to conform to social signaling. Social signaling is why you buy things you don't need to impress people you don't like. It is a biological leftover from when being cast out of the tribe meant certain death. Today, the tribe doesn't care if you have a Rolex. Only your bank account cares. This leads to the most important metric of all, your wealth ratio. Divide your net worth by your annual spending. If you spend $50,000 a year and have $100,000 in assets, your ratio is 2. You could survive for 2 years without a paycheck. If your ratio is 20, you are financially independent. The goal of every decision you make shouldn't be, will this make me look rich, but does this improve my wealth ratio? Wealth is not about what you show off. Wealth is the financial assets that haven't been converted into physical possessions yet. Every dollar you spend on a status symbol is a soldier you've pulled off the battlefield of your future. Those dollars could have been working for you, compounding at 7%, turning into $10, then 20, then 50. We live in an era where everyone is trying to sell you a shortcut, but shortcuts are illusions. In 1956, the economist Benjamin Graham, the mentor to Warren Buffett, argued that the secret to investing is having the temperament to ignore the crowd. He wasn't talking about being a genius. He was talking about being patient. Stop looking for the secret hack. Stop looking for the hidden algorithm. If there were a secret way to get rich overnight, the person selling it to you for $49 wouldn't be selling it. They would be using it. The science is simple, even if it is not easy. First, control your spending to create a surplus. Second, invest that surplus into low-cost, broad market assets that capture the growth of the global economy. Third, wait. Let the math do the heavy lifting for you. The most successful people in history didn't get rich by timing the market or following the latest trend. They got rich by doing the same boring, intelligent things for a very, very long time. You don't need a guru to give you permission to be disciplined. You just need to realize that your future self is a real person who deserves the financial freedom you are currently sacrificing for a dopamine hit. If you want to be rich, stop trying to look like it. Start building the machine that makes it inevitable. The math is on your side as long as you are willing to outlast the urge to fit in. After all, the only thing that truly separates the wealthy from the broke is the patience to let their money work while they sleep. So look at your habits today. Are they building your machine or are they just fueling the cycle of consumption? The choice is not between luck and hard work. The choice is between the noise of the gurus and the quiet, persistent, boring power of the truth. What will you choose to do differently tomorrow?